Hi, I'm Randy Lyman here at Humankind Center in Sedona, Arizona, coming to you live tonight or possibly recording if you're watching this later. Thank you for joining us. Tonight I want to talk about gratitude and how we can use gratitude to improve our life in so many ways. But first I want to just take a moment to slow down and to get into the present moment so I don't get off in my head, and so the audience can also slow down a little bit, and hopefully we can connect. So first of all, I want to ask everybody to follow along. We're going to soften the muscles in our forehead and imagine that the tension there goes away. And then next we'll unclench our jaw. I hold a lot of tension on my jaw, and this helps me to let go of some of the stress I'm hanging on to and come back into the present moment. Next we'll relax our shoulders and our arms and take a deep breath and know that everything is exactly as it should be right here and now, and that I don't need to be rushing through every moment of every day. In this life we live today with everything moving so fast, sometimes it's a challenge to come back into the present moment and get out of our heads and feel the beauty of being alive here in a body. With regards to gratitude, gratitude is really powerful. It's something that I don't think of as often as I really could, but when I do, it brings me back to the moment. It brings me to a place of being grateful for all the simple things in my life, as well as all the amazing things in my life. And not everybody has an amazing life. That's just part of being here on the planet. But all of us have simple things that we can be thankful for. We have our life. We're still alive. We're still here. For some of us, it might be a surprise. For some of us, we take it for granted. But it's amazing to be here, alive on this planet, experiencing what we do here on this, in this time and space of so many great things and so much technology and people coming together more and more from a place of love and caring rather than just responding to the world from a place of fear. I have clean water. Most people in the world don't, but we have clean water, we have clean air. Most of us have a safe and comfortable place to live. So when we stop and think about these things, we might just take them for granted because, okay, it's no big deal. Most of the world doesn't have clean water. I've traveled to countries where people's water is not clean. It's full of chemicals and heavy metals and a lot of things that aren't good, but those people are still glad to have water. And in the US, we have so many luxuries we take for granted. If we go back 100 years ago, or definitely 150 years ago, this world didn't have all the luxuries we have today. So when I think about having to get food for dinner, it's not a challenge to go to the grocery store. I don't have to grow it myself. And is this a big deal? To us, maybe it's not such a big deal, but to our ancestors, they had to spend most of their lives just working to survive. And today we have so much luxury time and so many amazing things, healthcare and food and shelter and transportation. And we also have miracles in our lives, and we don't always see those. But for me, I'm experiencing miracles every day of people that I meet and things that turn out really well for me that I wasn't able to create on my own. Sure, I can think about it and I can take action, which I think is the right thing to do. But there's so many coincidences that happen today that I see as miracles, and I accept them as a normal part of my day because of my understanding of how the universe works. But when you're stopping to think about things to be grateful for, try and look for the miracles that happen, even if it's just meeting an old friend of yours at the grocery store you haven't seen in years. And be thankful for that. Be thankful for the friends that we have. Every one of us, for the most part, has somebody we can turn to when we need something. Yes, some people are completely alone, but for the most part, we have someone we can turn to, even if they're a distant friend or just a stranger we meet on the street. There's a lot of good people out there who can help us. So gratitude can be the simple things in life that many take for granted, and it can be the miracles we experience every day, the magic and the things that happen to us that are so much bigger than what we can do with our human hands and with our human mind. And to me, that's what I'm really grateful for, is the amazing arena that God has given us to play out this game of life in, where so many amazing things happen. The people that I get to work with, so many new friends I've met just in the last year who are focused on the positive, who are focused on love and making things happen. So one other thing I want to talk about is our parents. Not everybody at the moment maybe is grateful for their parents. I'm truly grateful for my parents and the things they provided me. Not only the learning and the safety and a place where I could call home that really felt safe, but also for the lessons and some of the things they said or did that they may be aware of or may not be aware of, for the challenges that I experienced because of our relationship, for the healing in places where we had challenges and we've made it through that now. And I'd like to say for those who say, well, my parents have really been a challenge for me, how can I be grateful? I believe that we choose our parents before we come down here and incarnate here into a body for the human life experience. And we choose our parents not only because of the positive things they're going to provide for us, but because of the things that they say or do that we disagree with or cause us some challenges in our life, and for the experiences and the growth we have around those interactions with our parents. They are doing the best they can. They did the best they could do with what they knew at the time and who they were and all the challenges they were having as human beings on this path. So I'm really thankful for my parents and for all the positive things they taught me, for the environment they set where I could grow up, and with knowing that I'm coming home to a safe place every night, and for the things they said or did that may have irritated me that I was able to grow from. And for me, those irritations are as big a gift as the positive things that they provided. So something to consider when thinking about what we can be grateful for. Sometimes it takes a while before we make it past the emotional challenges we had with our wounding when we're children, whether it's from cousins or aunts or uncles or whoever. All these people in our life were brought to us as gifts to help us learn and grow. So hopefully we can find ways to identify that, acknowledge it, and to be grateful for those experiences. Because not every experience is meant to be wonderful. There's so much that's meant for our learning and our growth. I also want to talk a little bit about when we're grateful, it's much easier to have a conversation with God. And for many of us, when we get to a place where, I want something, or I'm in a bind, or I need some help, and when we say a prayer, okay, God, help me through this, and help me find a solution, and I promise you I'll do something, or I'm sorry for the things I haven't done, or whatever. And God doesn't need that. God just simply needs us to turn to Him and say, help me through this. But when we are in a place of gratitude more often, then when we turn to God and ask for help, we already have that connection. It's an ongoing conversation. It's not just a, hey, by the way, even though I forgot about you for the last 3 weeks or 3 years or whatever that might be, I could use some help. And gratitude is a great way to reconnect with Source, with Divine Source, and to say, thank you for all that you do for me. I really appreciate it. So when we go to, I will say to call in a favor, because some people see it as that. It's not. Every thought and every action is a prayer. And every one of our desires is a prayer. But when we go back to say, hey, God, help me out here, it's a whole lot easier for God to know where we're at and for us to get into a place of gratitude and receiving when we have an ongoing conversation on a regular basis with God, Divine Source, angels, whatever way works for you. When we have those conversations on a regular basis, we're more connected with the higher part of ourselves. And so when we ask for something, it's a much more natural conversation, and it's easier for us to get to a place, like I said, of receiving. Because God's there ready to help us achieve whatever we desire that's good for us and good for the world. And when we ask, it's much easier. And when we have a constant, or more consistent at least, feeling of gratitude, then the connection is stronger, and we're at a place where we understand that as a part of Divine Source, as a spark of God, we have a right to experience so many wonderful things here. We don't have to earn them. Yes, when we work hard, that helps. When we think positive thoughts, that helps. When we heal our old emotional wound, that helps. But just as who we are, as beautiful beings at our core, doing the best that we can, there's a level of deservedness there that already exists before we work our way towards deserving more, I guess you could say. And another thing I'd like to talk to a little bit about, which I always go back to, is the law of attraction. When we feel gratitude, Divine Source responds to us through the law of attraction. The law of attraction says, whatever we focus on with our mind, our actions, our emotions, is attracted to us. So we are taught that opposites attract, and in some ways in science opposites attract, but also things that are alike are attracted, and that's really the basis of how Divine Source, God in the universe, interacts with us. So when we think positive thoughts, positive things happen. When we think negative thoughts, negative things happen, and the same happens or occurs with our actions and what we do and what we don't do, and our emotional wounds that we're holding within us. So when we think a thought, there is a vibration associated with that thought. Just like a sound wave is a vibration, a thought is a vibration. And that is set out into the universe, in the law of attraction. The universe responding to us through the law of attraction says, oh, you're thinking of good things, then I'll bring you more good things. You're doing things that are respecting your body, then I'll be more respectful of your body and the environment around you. You're holding on to old emotional wounds that are a challenge. I'm going to bring you something to remind you of those old emotional wounds. And as those of you who have followed me know, I like to talk about that. I'm going to kind of stay away from that tonight, not because I don't believe it, it's not really important, but because the other aspects of how we interact with ourselves and the world to create a better world for ourselves are really important also. And so when we have a thought, like I said, there's a vibration associated with that thought. And the law of attraction says, oh, you're thinking of the things you enjoy doing, of happy times and comfort and having an easy day where everything goes well and there's cooperation from the people you work with and the people you know. When we think those thoughts, then more of that is attracted to us. And with gratitude, it goes a step deeper, because in gratitude, we're not only thinking about those things, when we can really slow down, and that's always a challenge for me, to slow down and to be out of my head. But when we slow down and we think about gratitude, there's like an automatic process that happens where if we think about it for long enough without being too busy and we just relax and breathe in the moment, then we actually can feel gratitude. And we have that feeling in our body of gratitude, of being thankful for something that either we created or somebody else created, or that magically the universe created for us. Then that feeling sends out an additional frequency to the universe of, this is how I feel. And the universe, through law of attraction, says, I'm going to bring you more things to feel that kind of gratitude. So we think about it and we feel it. It really amplifies it, and it helps us to manifest great things in our life that help us feel more gratitude. So we become focused in our mind on positive things. We feel in our body a feeling that gratitude takes us to. And that feeling in our body that touches us emotionally also sets up a physical vibration of the physical feeling. So when we touch on all three, the thoughts and our actions through our body and what we feel through our body and the emotions that we feel through our body, and all those three things are aligned in something wonderful that we're grateful for, then the law of attraction, the universe is obligated to bring us more things that help us have those feelings. It doesn't judge us as to what we've done. It sees us as what we are in the moment and what we're doing and what we think and what we do and what we feel. So when we get to this place of gratitude and it's real for us, and for most people it's not that difficult, especially with a little practice, to get to a place of gratitude, then the universe goes into action immediately to start bringing us things to be grateful for. Now, when I say immediately, it goes into action. That means it's taking action to set up things behind the scenes. It doesn't mean that we're going to be flooded in the next 5 minutes with wonderful things to be grateful for. And maybe 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 years. We don't know God's timing on everything. But I can guarantee that when we get to the place of gratitude and we truly feel gratitude, then the universe starts conspiring on our behalf and on its own behalf, because it wants wonderful things for us to experience as well. It starts conspiring to make a lot of wonderful things line up and come into our life. And this is what the law of attraction that God's angels live for, is to serve us in whatever way we are today. Not just what we want, but what we are in our thoughts, what we are in our actions, and where we are emotionally. And we have desires, mental and emotional desires, to be in certain places. And all those affect our reality. But if we're not there 100%, then we aren't able to receive 100% of what we're desiring. So again, gratitude helps us to align our thoughts, our actions, and our feelings. And it's just so powerful. So some people will have doubts. And as always, I ask you to suspend your doubts for a moment, or for a day, or for a while, as long as you're able to suspend your doubts, and start to believe at some little place in a depth of your core, or maybe just a corner of your mind, okay, maybe this works and I'm going to try it. When we're able to create that thought of maybe it works, that in itself is a vibration, and that opens up a space for bigger creations and bigger miracles to come into our life that can show us reasons to have faith, show us reasons to change our thoughts and our actions and deal with our emotions. And that builds like a snowball. Before you know it, our life becomes better. I read something this morning from Mel Robbins, and she says, the moment that we open, actually it wasn't from Mel Robbins, it was somebody else, excuse me, but Mel has a lot of great things to say as well. And what she said is, the moment that we ask the universe, what is my life all about? What is the meaning of my life? Where am I really going? When we do that, the universe says, oh, you have a question? I'll help you answer the question. And it starts to arrange things in our life that help us to be more aware of who we are at a more spiritual, deeper level. Who we are in the part of our thoughts that can observe from a place of higher consciousness that exists within us, and how our life can change to allow more of love and God's magic in. So gratitude is similar, where we start to have gratitude and then we associate that with the idea of wanting more in our life and wanting to have a deeper spiritual experience here on the planet. Then that's set up for us right away. And again, we won't see it in 5 minutes or maybe even 5 days, but it's really happening. And some of the biggest things that I've experienced in my life, some have only taken moments, but most of them have taken weeks or months or sometimes years. It's always been worth it. It's always been worth it for me, because when I get to that place of achieving what I've been working for, or what I've been wanting to experience, and it doesn't always come in exactly the form that I originally envisioned it in, but it comes sooner or later if it's meant to be and it's good for me. And it typically comes in a manner that's even better than what I imagined. And when that happens, it's really easy to have gratitude. It's really a wonderful place to look at a list that we've written 2 or 3 years ago, or even 5 years ago, and see, wow, these things have happened and they've taken place in my life. And when I wrote it down, or when I really thought about it the first time, it was kind of like a dream that I didn't know if it would happen or not. But that's what gratitude does. And that's what doing the work every day does, to have clear thoughts and have respect for our body and the people and environment around us, and to work with our emotions as we get to those places in our life where the things we only dreamed of are real. And the thoughts that we thought that we just hoped would happen, but we didn't really believe, when we continue to do the work and we continue to ask for guidance and we continue to have gratitude for little things, then the thoughts and the actions and the feelings of gratitude attract to us the big things. Why is that important? Well, it's important because God wants us to have our own unique life. A friend of mine recently just said, well, I'm going to surrender my life over to God. And I don't know how that experience is working out for her exactly. Hopefully she achieves what she wants to and experiences what she wants to. My own personal experience was a little over 30 years ago when somebody was teaching me how to manifest. They said, well, in order to get what we want or to have a better life, we need to surrender to what God wants for us. Well, I took that to the extreme, and what I said was, okay, I want this day to be whatever the universe wants for me. And so I surrendered to what the universe wanted without my own desires and goals. So it was a really boring day, and at the end of the day, I asked the universe, through prayer and through listening through meditation, what was the day all about? I was kind of surprised by how blah it was. And the answer was, we, my guides, the universe, we don't want to create your life for you. We want to support you in creating what you dream of and desire. We want to support you in creating a better life for yourself and the people around you. But each of us has to have our own dreams and desires and goals and wants and needs. And when we have those and we do it in cooperation with divine source and we ask for guidance and we do it from a place of love, then amazing things are created. But they still, our own experience depends on our own thoughts and our own ideas and our own goals. They, the universe, our guides and those who support us through whatever way they do magically through the ethers, they need an idea of where we want to go. And when we know where we want to go and we take the action and we can connect with the universe from a place of gratitude, then the universe gets behind us. So it's really an odd place to be, of having what we want, not knowing what God wants for us, using our mind to navigate the world we do, the modern world. We have to use our mind every moment of every day, pretty much. And at the same time, not be stuck in our mind and be able to feel the wonderful experience we have here on our body on an amazing planet in an amazing environment, to work through our emotions and to continue to work on everything we can to be more evolved as a spiritual being on a human path. Gratitude, like I say, is for me probably the most overlooked from time to time, and at the same time the most powerful. So the gratitude connects us, and that connection accelerates everything. So with regards to manifesting and setting our intentions, people worry about, well, is this really going to happen? Is this good? Is this bad? That's where we don't know until we ask, and then we listen. And when I say listen, I mean meditate in whatever way it works. And for me, I can't sit still and meditate, but if I go for a walk out in nature, or even just a walk down the street and I slow down and breathe, then I can hear answers as to what I'm really looking for that's just trying to satisfy my ego, and what is it that I'm hoping for and reaching for that'll make my world better and make the world a better place. And gratitude is something that can also guide us as to what we really feel grateful for, and feel at a deepest level is something that is better for us. The things we think we want, that we're happy about kind of in our mind without really feeling grateful for, those are a pacifier. Those are a distraction from our emotions and from the things we don't want to do. So gratitude is really helpful also for helping us be clear on what goals are really going to be meaningful. And it's fun to have meaningless goals as well. At some point in time, I'd like to have a new and different car. And is that going to make my life better, make me a better person? Is that going to help the world? No, it's not. But having the human experience of experiencing the material world in a way that brings us fun or brings us comfort or brings us a different experience we can learn from and enjoy at the same time, there's nothing wrong with that. And when we vibrate at the fun of driving a new car and the feeling of, okay, I'm going to be able to get to where I'm going without my car breaking down, and if I take friends, I've got room for my friends, and all those things that are not a deep spiritual event, those are still a wonderful part of being human, and those are still the kind of experiences the divine source wants us to experience here, to experience the fun of being on the planet, not just the challenges of being on the planet. So if we're wanting to manifest a new car, a new house, more money, a better school for our kids, whatever that might be, the divine source doesn't judge that. God is not judgmental and saying, oh, I'm only going to help you with the things that are spiritual, and I'm not going to help you with everything else. God wants to help us with everything that's good for us or helps us through a lesson. Now, the ones that help us through a lesson aren't always so wonderful, but sometimes we ask for things we think are going to be a lot of fun or are going to help us, and they turn out just to be a lesson. When we've truly felt the lesson and we get on the other side of that lesson and we see how positive that lesson is after the pain is gone, after the challenge is gone, and we get to a place of gratitude, then the interesting thing is the gratitude we had for the lesson helps to bring us a whole lot of other things that are good in our life. And that might sound odd. Okay, I'm having gratitude for all these crappy things that happened to me, so I had this wonderful lesson, and now this gratitude about the crappy things is going to bring me good things. The gratitude isn't for all the challenge. The gratitude is for the learning and the growth, and what we get to keep from the learning and the growth and the experience. So when we sit down and think about what we want in life, and hopefully you're making lists about the things you'd like to manifest, not just thinking about them, but either typing them out or writing them out, then gratitude will help us about things we're already grateful for, or imagining how we're going to feel grateful for what's on our list. That'll help us become more clear as to why we're wanting that. Is it something that I'm using as a distraction from life? Or is it something that's going to be fun or bring me more comfort and ease in life? Or is it something that's going to bring me a deeper connection to the people in my life and to God and love itself? And we're more clear on where we're going and what we want, and we do that through gratitude, then it helps us to be clear on what we're looking for. And then the universe says, you're already grateful. You don't need as many lessons. The lessons will be easier, and I really want to help you accomplish what you're looking for in this life. So many things that we do are about accomplishing. That's what we're here to do, to create or to enjoy. And sometimes to enjoy, we have to accomplish the time and space and money to enjoy what it is we want to enjoy. And some people put values on all these things. Oh, there's more value, or God's going to help me more to have this deep spiritual experience than to get a new coat because I want a better looking coat, even though I've already got a coat. And we're not judged for those things that we want. There is no judgment. This is just about the experience of having more and doing more and being more. Now, ultimately, the experience is about feeling that it comes from, and understanding and feeling that it comes from what God wants for us, and feeling and understanding that it comes from our connection with Source, and that nothing here is of our own making, so to speak. Yes, we have a lot of wonderful material things in our life that we as humans have created, but they've all been done through the magic of the universe God put together. Water that can be solid, liquid, and vapor. The sun or the planet that's the right distance from the sun. The planet that's tilted at just the right angle, that we get seasons so that the snow gets deposited in the mountains, and then we get the heat of the summer to grow crops, and the water that's there in the mountains deposited in the wintertime as snow melts and comes down in the summertime. These are all amazing creations that some people say are just random, but I believe that it's been created so that we can have this experience here. And when we stop and say, wow, I can't create this on my own, but I get to experience it, that can take us to gratitude, and that can take us to a place of creating and receiving more. So the world is a real distracting place today. There are so many conveniences that we as humans have been able to build through technology, through the Industrial Revolution, through the information revolution, through computers and everything around intelligence and artificial intelligence, that we get distracted and we forget that, yes, we as humans have taken the resources God gave us and we've created more. But I believe a lot of those innovations that have come to us through guidance from a higher source. And even if it's our human mind putting all this together, and there is not divine guidance for a new discovery somewhere, scientific discovery, we didn't build our minds, we didn't build our bodies, we didn't put the planet together. And I don't believe in random. As a scientist, I've seen so many things that are just like miracles. And as a human, I've experienced so many things that have happened in my life that weren't just random. There's no way they're random. I believe in divine guidance. And the more I believe, the more magic I see. And the more gratitude I have, the more magic I see. And when I bring together my thoughts and goals and desires, and I work with gratitude, and I work with the universe, and I work with the magic, then I'm able to achieve a better life and build more wonderful things for myself and my family and my friends and the world around me. And that's really what we're here to do. And yes, we all have limiting beliefs. We all have physical limits at the moment, but we all also have the ability to connect to divine source. And even if that's just a prayer that you're not sure if it's going to be answered or not, say the prayer. Even if you're writing down a goal that you have no idea how it's going to happen, write the goal down. You don't have to share it with anybody. Just write it down. Set the thought in your mind, put the thought on paper, feel what it'll feel like to have what it is you want. And if you can't imagine how grateful you would be to have that goal that you've written down. And then start to take the action a little bit every day and continue to work on your list and continue to be grateful and continue to work on yourself. And maybe it'll take a while before it really takes hold for you, but I can guarantee eventually it will take hold and the magic will come through and the coincidences will happen and you'll find that your life improves and you'll find more reason to be grateful. And as the gratitude grows within us and the connection to source grows and that feeling of warmth and happiness and being grateful for all the amazing things in our life, that sets us up for a connection with the universe that it's been waiting for. And when we have that partnership with our higher self and that part of us, the magnificent universe that's just waiting to serve us and help us accomplish what we want to accomplish, then the limits go away and our life gets better. It puts us in a place to have more to share, more belief in love and what's good. And when our faith grows, then our hope grows. And when our hope grows, then we take more chances on doing things that are a risk in order to bring more good to ourselves, our family, and our community and the world. So gratitude leads to all these things, and hope is my goal for you. And hope is so powerful when we have that feeling of everything's going to work out. Then eventually, maybe not exactly the way we're looking for it to work out, but with some hard work on our end, positive thoughts, the right action, and working through our emotions, we get to create an amazing world here and share it with those we love. Thank you for joining me tonight. I hope these words have been helpful, and I ask you to suspend your doubt long enough to feel and think of the positive things that gratitude can help bring you in your life. Blessings.